The last way I like to use an English wheel is what I consider a forming machine. If I had a panel such as this where I had already shrank the corner down, I want both of these edges to be turned down at the same radius, but I want the panel to remain flat. I don't want any shape this way, but I want the panel to curve down that way and that way, starting on this line. I'll shrink the corner. You can tuck shrink, or I use a power hammer to get that corner shrunk down. And what I do, you want to pick the flattest wheel you have and light tension on the upper wheel. I'll put the panel in there, and as I pull out, as soon as I get to that line where I want the panel to start turning, I use that lower die as a forming anvil to pull the panel down across, using the upper wheel to back it. You would track across the same way you would track, but since there's very, very little tension between the dies, we're not creating stretch, so we're not putting any crown. I'm pulling it down, shaping it across that lower die. Once we get closer to that corner, I'll have to change the lower die to a wheel that fits in that radius to blend the sides into the corner. You can see how that's forming over, but it's remaining flat. Let's do this side. So I got it to the point now where I need to change to a different radius lower die so I can blend this into here. This die is too flat. The corners would contact and leave dig marks since we don't have enough clearance. So let's change this to the highest crown wheel we have. Again, we're going to bring it up, keep it pretty loose. We don't actually want to pinch the panel because then we're going to create stretch. That'll start putting crown, and we don't want to put any crown in it. And you want to keep it just tight enough you can feel a slight drag, but the wheel actually has the ability to slip. If you made the whole panel out of the highest crown wheel, your tracking pattern would actually have some pretty sharp dig marks in it. I call them railroad tracks. And they're very difficult to planish out later. So just there, within a few seconds, we managed to turn the edge down, around the corner, down this way, using the English wheel as a forming tool to pull over across the die. So we managed to keep the panel flat. We would then go in and continue to wheel this area here and planish this all together, get all these tooling marks out, get this nice and smooth. You could use this if you're making the top of a tank and you want to initiate the radius for the sides of the tank that you could then weld to, and the top of your tank stays flat. And you can pull that down without having to use a hammer on a stake, without having to form over a large piece of pipe. You can just use your English wheel, light pressure, slip it out. As soon as you get to your line, put pressure and pull down. Use that as a forming anvil.